3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of Questlog. It's a weekly show about video games old and new. My name is Tyler Everett and this is episode 79. Joining me as always is my good friend and compadre, Mr. Brian Maxwell. How's it going, sir?
It's going great. This is another prime number episode, so we are on a fucking game tonight.
Hype. Get hype. Hype man extraordinaire. It's the one, the only Luke Phillips.
Hey, how's it going?
So good. Listen to all that hype coming from the hype man.
It's gonna be the best episode ever.
It's lit. It's lit, fam. Totally. Also clearly, visibly hyped is the smarmy, the spectacular, the Aaron J. Kring.
It's not Jay. We've talked about this before many times. It's not a J.
It just feels like it should be.
How many times have we said this on the show, Tyler?
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. Yes, I will take Bartholomew. That's biblical, right?
It has to be. Sounds
Sure.
like it.
I'll take it.
Kring, it's great to have you. It's great to be doing episode 79.
No, it's great to be here, Tyler.
And it's great to just have another week have gone by. It feels like it went super quick. Anyone ever feel like, like time is moving quicker than normal? It feels like that right now to me. Feels like I'm in fast forward times.
I was just talking about this to somebody the other day today, I mean, that where did May go? Like it's gone. It went away. Before I realized it was gone, it's gone.
Yeah. I don't know, I just feel like I'm in like fast forward perpetually now. Like I'm now in my 30s and just time is just whizzing by me at breakneck pace. It's weird.
Can't confirm.
Yeah, just fast forward me right into the fucking dirt. Thanks, life.
Episode 79.
Existential dread hype. Oh, but you know what we do to escape that? We play video games, because that makes it all just a little bit more bearable. And here comes what we've been playing. Oh, man. It's been a good week for games. Brian, as usual, why don't you start us right the heck off? What you've been playing.
Tyler, I done played a Moonlighter.
You did?
I done did.
You've been... This was 2D ARPG looking thing number 2 that you've been hyped for so far in 2018.
I think I described it as if Link's job was to own and operate a business instead of rescue a princess. This is that game.
Yeah.
That about sums it up.
Yeah.
Sounds accurate.
Have you been able to she said if Link owned and operated a business, has anybody come in and started smashing your pots looking for rupees yet? Does that happen?
No. People try to steal from me though.
Sometimes successfully.
Sometimes successfully.
Is there like a punishment for them if you catch them? Like, do you get to? Is it like
cut their hand off? Yeah,
cut their hand off, or just
no.
like a slap on the wrist and they walk away?
No, you just tackle them and take your shit back and they leave.
Oh, that's hardly justice, but okay.
You're bloodthirsty, Kring.
Yeah, it's that Sea of Thieves.
No quarter.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry. Yeah. So you done played Moonlighter? You done gave it a write up and review over at questlogcast.com. It's a good little game. I got to play it too through Steam Family.
Feels like it's a little bit more than the sum of its parts for me. It's maybe punching above its weight a little bit. Like it's a pretty simple loop of you go into the dungeons, you get shit, you go back home, you sell the shit in your store. Mm-hmm. Upgrade your store or upgrade your gear, go back to the dungeons, repeat. It's a pretty simple loop, but I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. Just the look and the sound of it. It's
Yeah.
one of those I love to be in this world games.
Yeah, the setting is kind of like you're not the chosen one. You're not trying to save the world. It's just that there's these dungeons that are in this world, and adventurers like to come through them and try to find shit. And so there's adventurers and merchants, and you're a merchant, and you're just trying to get the stuff and sell it in your shop, and you know.
But in a way, you're also an adventurer.
Well, yeah, you kind of get to moonlight as
you just play both.
as well. Yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
It's a real hard gig this guy has.
But yeah, it's a neat thing to kind of juggle back and forth. Like the Zelda elements of like going through a dungeon and just like kind of cleaning out all the bad guys are there, but it's none of the finding ancient relics and stuff. It's all basically crafting materials and things that can be made into other things or sold in your shop. So you're not finding like a level 5 sword in there, but you might find all the materials to craft a sword upgrade. So it's a neat kind of divergence from the expected format these things.
Are there any, is it just like, you know, the minions that you're killing, or are there any boss fights, or?
There's a boss on the bottom floor of each dungeon.
Okay.
Each dungeon has 3 floors.
So you're like an
Yeah.
accidental adventurer. You're like the accidental hero of the world, because you're killing all these bosses, these bad dudes. And these
There's a little bit of a story, like your grandfather was exploring these dungeons and he disappeared, so you find like his old journals and notes down there and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
That's about as far as it goes with that. Like a lot of the stories, I don't know, like it doesn't try to justify the dungeons too much. It's just like, it's different every time we come in. I don't know. It's magic. It's weird. It's just
Yeah.
like, okay.
They kind of
Sold.
they kind of explain that like you can't go in together with anyone, because what happens, like if you look at it, when you enter the door kind of like fills up with this goo, like the slime, and you step into it and it kind of sucks you in and spits you into a unique dungeon. So they kind of, you know, describe it as like you could walk in there with your friend, but you're both separated into different dungeons. So like 5 adventurers enter through the same door and they all get put into different rooms in their own separate thing. And so even though you went and killed the boss, there's still a different boss in there for somebody else.
Gotcha.
So that's like built into the world. It's like a limitation that they've kind of, you know, magicked a story around. But yeah, it's like the look and feel of it is something I really dig.
The combat's good.
The combat does feel good.
The combat a lot. Like it's like it really walks the line where it's not overwhelming, but if I let my guard down and get sloppy, I'm gonna pay for that usually. And it's got the like push your luck thing of, you know, I should really leave. My bags are full.
But
There might be something good in the next room though, and I for sure won't die in the next room. And dying feels real bad in this game because I've talked myself into, you know, like carrying on when I should leave and then paid for it.
Yeah.
What happens when you die?
You lose everything in your backpack. Like you've got like a top row that you keep, but everything else, you know, probably 80% of your stuff goes away.
I did not know
does
that.
suck.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
And it feels bad, but I mean, it should, you know.
There is
Lost.
they're trying to make like a mini game out of inventory management in here too, and that's the one part of the game where I think we're kind of on the same page, Brian. It's like I kind of appreciate that they're trying to do something new there, but in execution it just makes an already clumsy system more tiresome to manage, I think.
If I could switch to a mouse and click and drag that shit around, I'd be all about it. Like, that's
Yeah.
fine. I don't have a problem with the inventory little mini game, but it's so awkward to, you know, drag and drop things with the analog stick with a controller. They really need to find a way to streamline that, because that's enough of a pain in the ass to where I just leave stuff on the ground a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, the problem that I have is like I play this like Diablo, and I kind of shouldn't, because my mindset is always like kill all the things and collect all the stuff, and then my bags are always full.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, do I push my luck into this dungeon further even though I got full bags, or do I just back out and sell what I have and then come back again. It's
the
like
stuff you find gets much better as you go down further. So
right. It's kind of tough to just leave stuff around.
So Tyler's like the dude at the buffet. He's filling up on bread when he should be waiting to get to that, the good stuff.
Yeah, just stack bacon as high as I can on my plate.
Exactly.
Yeah. That. But I really like it. It's been a good I think I've put about 3.5 hours, and I've been doing it like after we're done playing Sea of Thieves. I'll sometimes just hop into this,
cleanser.
and yeah, it's kind of a good unwind and just kind of
After
go
we're
through.
done, we don't get done playing Sea of Thieves till like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Word.
Yeah, it's a very charming game.
Sea of Thieves it gets my adrenaline pumping, is my heart rate up, and I sometimes need just like a unwind thing, and this is good for that. Like
I don't know why all I get is if going to fix holes, turn the sails, and hear Tyler say, "Oh, killed one. Oh, killed another. Oh, killed the third one." Like, I don't know what gets your blood pumping.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Before we switch over to Sea of Thieves, Luke, you played this too, and it didn't quite land as strong for you.
Well, I dabbled in it. I only probably put about 30 minutes or so just to get a kind of an idea what you guys were talking about. But no, it's charming.
Yeah.
I had an old Logitech controller I was using, and I think it's broken because I was pressing like left and right. And my guy was going down and to the left or down to the right, and that's frustrating when you're trying to fight.
You got to be pretty precise. It's not going to be very forgiving of that.
Yeah,
Right.
But no, it's good. I like the concept. The music was really good.
Wait, so hang on. This is a PC game, but you have to use a controller?
Oh no, you can
No, it's
use a keyboard and
recommended.
mouse.
But the key bindings
Okay.
on keyboard are just awful.
Yeah, you're not gonna play a
Gotcha.
game like this with a mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
do-
it's good. I would probably dabble into it every now and again. As you said, it's a relaxing game.
Yeah.
There's just a little bit enough of a challenge there, something that Stardew Valley really didn't have for me.
Mhm.
Kind of keep me on my toes, but it's still okay. I'm in my shop and I'm going to go through and set some prices and sell some stuff to people and head up to a dungeon, and
It's
all going to be good.
It's fun you mentioned Stardew Valley because I had that in my head when I was playing this, and it was screwing with me at first because I kept worrying that I was going to run out of energy, or that I would have to go to bed, or that I would have to that I was missing out on the day-night cycle and not optimizing it. And that's totally not a thing here. It's like there is a calendar that seems to be cycling through and telling you like the date after you wake up and kind of signifying the next day, but I haven't found anything that really matters other than there's probably seasonal stuff that comes into play later on, but for the most part,
thing I found is like people will come into your store and order things, and you have like 3 or 4 days.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
To fulfill the order. That's the only time, crunch, quote unquote, that I've found.
Okay, I haven't gotten that far yet, but okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it's very much just like, well, if you feel like going to do a harder dungeon at night, you can do that, or you can just hop in bed and get after it the next morning. You can choose not to open your shop that day, if you don't feel like it, and you just skip to the next day. Like it's pretty forgiving of how you spend your time.
Yeah.
I'm really digging it. It's cool. Like I put together a little shopping list. I've kind of made goals to like get my character a bunch of armor and weapons and stuff before I get really into the shopkeep stuff. And so, yeah, I've just put money into like the forge and the enchanter potion place so far. Just upgrading all my gear, and then I'm going to try to start banging out these dungeons. So it's cool.
So
cool game.
Once again, this would be a fantastic game on the Switch.
Yeah, it's
in the works.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. Especially then they could take that, because the Switch has a touchscreen, you could take that little inventory management mini game and put it on the touchscreen so that you could just,
drag and drop.
I wonder if maybe that's like, we got into a little discussion about this earlier today, and like, I wonder what it is that makes the Switch harder to develop for that to take longer to port these games over, because it seems like, I follow a few developers that have been bringing stuff to the Switch, and there seems to be a constant like, well, we're trying to get the frame rate up to where we want it to be.
Isn't it?
Like that's one of them. But
isn't part of it because of the Switch's construction? Like the Switch is built more like an Android based tablet, whereas the other systems and PCs are built more like PCs. Isn't there like a different architecture there?
Sure that plays into it, yeah. But like Luke just brought up something that made me wonder if there isn't a part of that is like them trying to work in the unique parts of the Switch. Like it's got these motion controllers, it's got the vibration stuff, it's got this touchscreen. Like maybe they work on trying to get some of that stuff in. And
most ports I see don't really bolt on anything extra though.
That's true. The big ones I'm thinking of are like Skyrim, where you can, it's got like, it's almost like the VR version where you have like, the motion controls and you're moving stuff around. But yeah, I don't know. I would love to talk to like an indie developer that is working on a Switch port, just to kind of pick their brains about what stuff they run into, and if if there's certain criteria that Nintendo wants them to hit or things like that cause that to take longer.
So
cool.
If you're an indie developer and you'd like to talk to us about this, email us
at
questlogcast.com.
Yeah, mail at questlogcast.com.
Mail at questlogcast.com. Damn it.
Almost had it. It was a perfect plug. Brian will fix it in post, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
From what I'm seeing is the processor in the Switch is a Tegra CPU GPU that's, not to get too technical, but completely different architecture than a regular PC would be. So that's probably has a lot to do with it.
That would make sense as far as the frame rate stuff goes.
Yeah, frame rate issues. So it's just optimizing the software for a completely different CPU type.
Right. That makes sense.
That makes sense. With Doom and Skyrim.
Yeah.
So we know it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, those are and those are huge teams too that they can throw at that stuff.
It would be the teams. It's not an indie dev with 2 or 3 people working on it. They can throw money at people who know this stuff already.
Good stuff. I'm definitely not sick of Moonlighter yet. I wanna see, what hour 10 looks like. I want to see what hour 15 looks like, and
hour 10's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more than halfway through the game, though. I don't think it's going to be a very long one. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's 4 dungeons, right?
4 dungeons, and then there's a big door.
Okay.
To unlock. I don't know if that's just a big dungeon or what.
Yeah.
I'm close. I'm in the 4th dungeon.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see what other little surprises this game has, because so far it's been very pleasant little thing. So.
Yeah.
Moonlighter, check it out. If you want to read more in-depth review of it, check out Brian's article at questlogcast.com. It's pretty good. But yeah, hey, what else you been playing, Brian?
I picked up one called Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Yeah.
That is a not quite a walking simulator, but it's well, I'm not sure how to classify it.
Just tell me I'd love it, Brian. Tell me I'll love it. Please tell me I'll love it.
There's a decent chance. I've only played about an hour of it, but like the way the game starts out is like it all takes place in like 1920s Depression era, America. You sit down at a poker table and you've got a hand that you think can't be beat, so you bet even though you can't match the pot. And then you lose, so it's just like, all right, now you owe me. And I don't know, the dude you lose to seems like he's maybe not, not of this world. But you're tasked with, like, you have to go out and, collect stories and tell stories. So you're just, like, walking around the country, gathering stories and retelling them.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a real charm to it. Like this time period, there's something special about it. And
you gotta love the Great Depression.
right. I know.
No, I get what you're saying.
I could have lived then. No, I know it's like when it's all done up like this.
There's something you can't tactfully put your finger on why the Great Depression is interesting. But it is a
And like it's not
An interesting time frame.
it's not the part where everyone's broke and everything's miserable, but it's like cars are just becoming a thing, and like electricity is becoming widespread, and it's a it's a real change.
There's an
It's a
interesting
real change in how
dichotomy
we live
going
day-to-day
on.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like
big
this
changes are coming.
amazing technological advancements, but then also like just this crippling poverty that's so widespread, and it has its own kind of culture and aesthetic and all that kind of stuff too, that seems like they're tapping into here. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you meet people who like they tell you stories and they want to hear stories from you.
Okay.
So you're retelling like other stories you've heard, and then you hear other people that you meet like retelling your own stories, but embellished.
Okay, yeah, it's
So
like the
that's
telephone
kinda
game.
neat.
There's like little extras or whatever. That's cool.
Right. There are these women that were like running moonshine, and they got busted by the cops.
Hmm.
And then I told someone that story, and then like later on, someone's like, "Yeah, there was this like this shootout where these women were running moonshine, and the cops showed up and they started shooting at them." And I'm just like, no, that's not what happened at all. But okay, that's fine.
20% true as usual, Morty.
Your story's better, so we'll keep on telling yours. And there's not a lot of gameplay to it, but seems like a good game to like hunker down in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah. Is that all like voice acted, or are you just reading that stuff, or
It's mostly voice acted, yeah.
That's cool. Good stuff. Well, Luke, how about you, man? What you been up to this week? Is that all yours, Brian, by the way? I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Luke, what have you been playing, man?
I picked up a little game, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, a game
You're
I said
welcome,
that
Luke.
I wasn't really going to pick up, but
then I showed interest in it and you bought it.
I actually didn't read that until Brian pointed out when I
Kring's
read it.
Yeah, Kring's an influencer. He's a trendsetter.
But
Donkey Kong's hot right now.
I wanted it on sale, but it's never going to go on sale. So I was sitting home bored, so I went out and picked it up and started playing it, and it's good. It's a real good game. It's very reminiscent of the Super Nintendo versions, and it plays and feels very similar to that. So I like it.
It makes me wish I had a Wii U so I could play Donkey Kong Country Returns. Isn't that where that there was one
made up?
There was a Donkey Kong Country before Tropical Freeze. I think it came out on Wii U. Tyler, fact check me.
There's mad Googling happening right now.
Tyler's just frantically keyboard kitty.
Donkey Kong Country Returns was a side-scrolling platform video game developed by Retro Studios and published by the Nintendo for the Wii console.
Oh, for the Wii?
November 21st, 2010.
So
it's not playing.
So yeah, there you go. Get a Wii.
So remember how we were playing Mario Odyssey and it felt kind of easy and all the bosses were boring and bland and generic?
Yes.
This is not that.
Yeah.
This is a very difficult game. Like I read all the reviews, they're like, yeah, this game is really difficult. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I've played the style platformers before. It's fine. No, it's difficult.
Didn't you tell us earlier today that the game made you feel like a dummy and just said it's okay, we'll take you to the next level even though you suck?
Uh-huh. Yeah, after you die, I think it's probably about 10 times in a level, it will pop up a message that says, hang in there. Next level's unlocked. You can go ahead there anytime you want.
When they say hang in there, Luke, is it the little is it just to drive the nail in a little deeper? Is that that little kitty cat poster? Hang in there.
We know you feel like an idiot right now. It's okay.
Well, that's where Funky Kong comes into play.
Oh shit, Funky Kong hype.
You switch from Donkey Kong to Funky Kong, and he's basically just better in every single way. from. I have not switched to him yet, but that's what I read. That's the funky mode in this game. Is that Funky Kong? Like what? They can jump higher and can fly.
Dad, hang on.
Yes.
He can fly.
Funky Kong is God mode.
Yes.
Is he a gorilla?
Funky Kong is basically
They're all gorillas.
Hey, I'm
believe,
too
Brian.
bad at this game and I need help. So here's an easier character.
Yeah, what I hear too is that like in funky mode,
It's just the worst name.
Say it with a straight face. Try it again.
hold on. All right, take two. In funky mode, you can. There's these Kong letters that you're collecting throughout the level and different unlocks and stuff. Normally, if you die, I believe you have to collect those all over again. You have to start from scratch, get like all your puzzle pieces and your Kong letters and all that stuff. In funky mode, that stuff persists even through your failures. So, like, you don't have to go back through and collect the same coins and junk all over again.
No, you keep all your stuff if you're in the same level. As long as you don't quit out of the level.
Okay.
Tyler,
So
I've died about 50 times already. I know how the death mechanic works.
So I'm
Okay.
curious now about the politics of Donkey Kong Country, the actual country, and why
The sovereign nation of Donkey Kong Country, yes.
why are we relying on Donkey Kong at all for any of this shit when Funky Kong is clearly better? Is there like some sort of a labor dispute? Like he's not getting paid enough, so he's like, nah, fuck you, I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah. Funky Kong's the power behind the throne.
I think there's a union, and basically they have to pay too much to Funky Kong. So
What you don't know, Kring, is during the Kong Wars of 1997, the People's Republic of Funky Town ruled that Funky Kong was too funky to rule, and so they reinstituted the sovereign nation of Donkey Kong Country and went back to a Donkey Kong led system. It was a bloody battle. I don't blame you for not keeping up on it.
Tyler, real talk.
History books don't cover that.
Yeah.
I feel like you're pulling my leg here, but I don't know enough about the Kong Wars to dispute it.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Where does
problem.
Diddy
Is
Kong come in?
Most people don't. Well, Diddy Kong fought valiantly, but was sadly destroyed by Cranky Kong during a coconut incident. We don't like to talk about it much.
Diddy Kong was walking on Cranky Kong's lawn.
Yeah, his what? What was he walking on?
His lawn.
His lawn. Okay, thanks.
His lawn.
I thought there was a lot of rhyming going on there, and I wasn't sure. Anyway,
Check it.
yeah, I'm gonna shut this down because it seems to just not be working.
Shut it all down.
Shut it all down. Yeah, shut all of it right down. Yeah. So there it is. Luke, you gonna see this one all the way through? Was it a good purchase? Do you feel good about it?
Yeah, so far. Like I was trying to say, the boss fights are really interesting. There's typically several different phases to them and different mechanics you have to use. So
it feels good to get in there and trounce them. Not like, yeah, that was a big thing with the Mario. All the bosses, one, looked really silly and dumb, and two, they were like,
oh yeah, what were they? The rabbit people?
Yeah,
what were they called?
God, they had the worst name. The Brutals.
Yeah,
Brutals.
Yeah.
Brutals.
Yeah, you just had to jump on them like 3 times, and it's just the same mechanic over and over. But yeah, they were kind of bad and boring, but no, these bosses are good. I had to jump on an egg and throw it back at this owl. That was pretty fun. Yep.
That sounds all right.
Does sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, boy. I'm going to take a moment here to try to figure out why my CPU... No, the computer's really just
What's that?
on
Ruminate
fire.
on Funky Kong for a bit.
Yeah.
Can we get that like intermission theme from Python?
Yeah, bring the kernel out.
Scored is just bad.
Don't worry, Brian will edit this all out in post.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
fix all this.
sure of it. Apparently, there's not a fix for this.
So, Luke, more about this Donkey Kong here.
Yes.
You were a big fan of the original Donkey Kong Country games, were you not?
I borrowed them and or rented them quite a bit, so I never actually really owned them. But yeah, I played them fairly extensively.
Is this better or worse than those, in your opinion?
It's hard to beat the originals.
Okay.
But I think this is probably as close to recreating those as possible right now.
So at least it recreates the feeling that the originals gave you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did one of the roller coaster levels where you're in a minecart.
Uh-huh.
So I had to go through and jump from rail to rail, and it's good. I wish they had some of the original sounds in it. It's like they just redid the sounds, and they're just not the same. Like the balloon pop when you die. There was a distinct sound of the minecart when you jumped.
I never got to play any of the original Donkey Kong games because hashtag, Genesis did what Nintendo didn't. So
that is a hot take. Hot takes coming straight from 1994, right at your face.
How's everything looking over there, Tyler?
Oh,
it's good to see you.
No, it's all on fire. It's fine. It's fine.
Boy, if only you knew somebody who worked in IT who could fix that.
Someday I'll fix it. It'll be fine.
But it is not this day.
It's not this day. So things are going to continue to probably break behind the scenes, and we'll just keep on rolling because that's what we do. That is the name of the game. Kring, Kring, what have you been playing?
Today so last week I downloaded the Mario Tennis Aces little demo that they got going out there on the Switch. Only to find out that it wasn't actually live. It was like a preload of this demo.
Okay.
But it wasn't going to go live until yesterday. So it's live all weekend. It's free to download. So if you're into that Mario Tennis, go get it. But
now this is just a like online tournament mode, right? Like that's all the demo is.
There's a practice mode, and then there's an online tournament mode. I don't give a crap about the online tournament. I've just played the practice mode a whole bunch with all the different characters to see what it's like, and it's really good. It's they've added some new mechanics into the game. You get this new like meter that I guess here. I should preface this by saying I don't know if these are actually new or not, because the last Mario Tennis game I played came out on the Game Boy Advance, because I like the Mario Tennis games that have the little story mode, and they kind of have RPG elements, kind of like Mario Golf on the Game Boys or Golf Story that I just played on the Switch last year. And this is the first proper console version of Mario Tennis that they've had with that story mode in it. So my interest for this game is super high.
I heard
there an N64 Mario Tennis?
There wasn't an N64 Mario Tennis, but it didn't have the story mode in it. And neither the same thing on the GameCube, same thing on the Wii U. Like none of these had that story mode, which is really what is the draw for me.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I heard that the Mario Tennis on like the Wii U was basically just kind of like arcade tennis with Mario characters. There wasn't anything like,
and that's all that like Mario. The only thing Mario Tennis on the 64 did outside of that was cool was they had that. I forget what the name of it was, but that little pack you could put it into where the Rumble Pack goes or the memory card goes, and it was like a cartridge slot for the Game Boy games, and you could put your copy of Mario Tennis in that, and then import your character from your Mario Tennis story mode into the N64 version, I believe, and play as that character with that person's stats, and then earn like experience boosts and stuff that you could put in.
They were so into that shit.
That game, and then level up your character.
That was a big thing right around then. I remember
It
like
was a big
Pokemon
thing.
Stadium had shit like that,
Yep.
and there was
Yep.
they were way into
that's stuff's neat, but also kind of fuck Nintendo.
that. Right.
I remember Final
Yeah.
Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, was it? Where like if you want to play multiplayer, you had to get Game Boy Advances with link cables for each one to connect to the console.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Or when you wanted to play Four Swords Adventure, The Legend of Zelda Four Swords, when that came out on the GameCube. It's a GameCube game, but you
Same
need
thing, right?
fucking Game Boys to play it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was also fuck Nintendo because I played the shit out of that Mario Tennis game, and by the time I was able to, because I never bought Mario Tennis on the 64, and I didn't have that little pack, so it was a few years down the road that I finally was able to like get those things, and then I tried it out, and by the time I did, like, my character was such high level that like I played a long match with him against another character, and it was like, great job, you won like 100 experience points, which didn't do fuck all to my character. Like I couldn't level anything up. It was just like this tiny little boost of points, and I was like, oh, sweet, this is a complete waste of my time to try to use this option. But back to the Switch. Back to why we're here.
Please stay on topic.
Mario Tennis
Aces?
Aces. It's Aces.
Okay.
It's real good. They add these like, so there's this like trick shot that they call it that they added in where like you can flick the right thumbstick one direction or another, and your character will like jump and land in a spot. And then hit the ball. So if you're like super far away from it, but you need to get there now, you can like do this little trick shot. But it's like what's cool about it is that it's a set distance that your character jumps. So if you're not far enough away, you can jump over the ball and then miss it. Like you'll jump too far and you won't be able to hit the ball then because you've landed not where you need to be. It looks like they also have this. Because they have this meter that you can use, like you can use it to slow down time. So you could slow down time and react to a ball faster.
Bullet time.
Yeah, that kind of a thing. Or you can use it for like a power shot where like a cursor will pop up on screen and then you move the cursor around and hit a shot. Yes, Brian.
How many characters would you say there are? Just give me a ballpark.
I think there's going to be like a dozen.
Okay. Can I be a shy guy?
I don't think you can be a shy guy, but you can be a chain chomp.
Yeah.
I actually identify as a chain chomp.
That's not an adequate substitute.
So, Kring, I downloaded this earlier today and tried it out.
And
I had my Switch fired up for the first time in like 5 or 6 months, so why not? And yeah, it's a good polished game. I'm not into tennis or anything, but
you should battle each other.
It's pretty fun actually. Some of the power-ups are pretty cool, and
Luke would get wrecked.
I would absolutely get wrecked.
Yeah,
but no, it's good. If you're into tennis and Mario stuff, it's home run.
I'm into Mario stuff.
Yes, Tyler. You look like you want to say something.
If you do wreck Luke, can you take his like rackets and balls and stuff and sell them?
No, but there are these. So like I said, there are these power shots, and you can line them up so that like you can hit.
You're really working on that segue, aren't you?
I was getting ready for it.
No, but you can these power shots, like, so if the power shot comes at you, you can block it, and then it'll be like just a blocked return. So that it will just go back. But if you miss that, then you can damage your racket. You can damage your racket to the point where it breaks, and if your racket breaks, you've lost the match. There's other power shots that are like these special shots that each character has, where like if I can hit Luke with it, it's guaranteed to break his racket.
If only there were a game where you could, have an encounter with an opponent and then take their stuff and sell it, but there aren't any.
There is one of those.
Time to wrap it up.
There is one of those. It's
Oh, this reminds me more about something else from Mario Tennis. I'm kidding.
I can't wait to hear more about Mario Tennis Aces when it fully releases into your arms, Krang.
Well, I won't be able to get it on launch day.
Why is that?
Because I'll be camping.
Oh, you gotta have that Wi-Fi.
No, I'm not getting Wi-Fi. No, I want my physical cartridge, Tyler.
Oh, why? Ew, gross.
Because I don't know why, but on the Switch, I feel like I want physical games more than any other console. Like I just want to has them.
I'm with you, Krang. I actually left my house today to go buy a physical copy.
Luke never leaves his house, Tyler.
Yeah. It was Saturday. I had no reason to leave my house, but I did.
I mean,
Luke had to put on pants.
I haven't bought.
Clashes with the portability, doesn't it?
Right. It's like I like being able to just turn it on and
carrying case.
Yeah.
For your Switch, right?
Yeah, but I'm
technically you're right.
Not.
And it has little spots for cartridges, so
does it?
Go.
Yeah.
It should.
Should it?
My cartridges are actually never inside the cases. I leave them inside the carrying case in the little slots.
Yeah,
that's where I keep mine too. But like, what about all those times when you don't have your carrying case and you just want to like load up a game?
Tyler, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many other consoles have you owned where they have flavored cartridges?
I cannot answer that. I won't speak to Tyler, but I can confirm or deny that.
Is plastic a flavor?
They're
not flavored as much as they are coated in with a thing what makes you want to get it out of your mouth.
Bitterant.
Yeah.
A bitterant. Yeah. And
how many other consoles have cartridges with bitterant? Tyler, I need to lick them.
What are you talking about? What are you? What is your deal, Krang? What is wrong with you? No, I want to get into this right now. Yeah, God, yeah. Who played Sea of Thieves? This guy. Heyo. We all played a little game called Sea of Thieves.
Kicking and screaming.
Right? Hey, it's Sea of Thieves time. I don't have the thing for it, but just know that it is. So, The Hungering Deep came out. It's here. It saved the game.
It's like a whole new game.
Rare is redeemed. All the haters have been silenced, and it's a fresh new look, and everything's fine now, right?
No, we beat it in like the first hour and a half. All we've done is go back to killing people.
So, like
but we have really cool new skins for the boat now.
That drum, though.
That drum.
And the speaking trumpet.
So, like we kind of predicted, this was a nice little content update to switch things up a little bit, but it doesn't really change the gameplay loop. There was a cool quest that got people cooperating for a little bit to go kill a really cool sea monster. But, you know, I'm very happy that they put that in the game, but it doesn't change the fact that what I want to do is go out and sink other boats. Like, that's the draw for me. I will say
the mechanics that they put into that quest were pretty cool, like having to go and pick up the shanty at Merrick, having to go to Merrick to pick up the shanty, and then you have to take it all the way, like you have to continue to play it the whole way there. And I took it from Tyler, and he's like, "You got it?" Yeah, I got it. Then I lost it.
I knew you were gonna fucking lose it. That's why I offered to just be the guy to play it, because I knew I wasn't gonna. But it was okay.
Don't worry, I had it.
Luke had it. He was on the other boat. It was fine.
I was on the boat with some rando in a sloop, just carrying the tune.
Yeah,
the fight was awesome though. That was great.
Yeah, fighting,
having two different boats, and then the sloop taking on a whole bunch of damage and having no real supplies. You guys jumping over to fix it until finally we're just like, you know what? Nope, just strip this thing of cannonballs. We'll go on the galleon and just fight off of there. We just let that thing sink.
Boy, we were real close to not completing that too. We were getting low on cannonballs, and I thought we only had like a handful of planks left.
Yeah, it was exhaustive. But yeah, it's fun. And now there's an area of the map that's always pretty much populated that we can go and hunt for other ships. So
we know they don't have anything on, but it's just fun to sink them.
The night after it came out was maybe the most fun I've had in the game ever. We were just digging around, hanging out down in that end of the map, and came across a sloop that had players on it that were not there. Like they were AFK the whole time or something. And so, randomly, I decide, like, I'm going to try to board this boat. I find them just standing on it. So I kill them both, knock them off the boat, and they're not coming back. Like, they're not respawning. I wait in the time, I'm like, wow, I think these guys are just, like, not playing or something right now. So I'm like, I'm just going to take this boat.
This is my boat now. Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, I guess this is my boat now. And you guys were like engaging this other galleon, and I roll up on this sloop that I just stole, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna intercept them. And it turned into this giant fight where Luke.
Well, what was great is that I started out with the trumpet saying like, hey, yeah, like we'll team up with you, but that sloop has been harassing us. We need to turn and take it down.
Yeah, and I just immediately got aggressive with them, and they were like, okay, yeah, help us get this guy. And you board their ship and start, like, this fucking subterfuge, like, you're doing all this, like, oh, yeah, he's down there, and then, like, shooting people in the back when they're not looking and stuff. It was crazy. It was...
I don't know how many times I would shoot someone and either be like, oops, sorry, that was my bad, I thought you were Ratbeard, or... oh my god, he's here. He just killed somebody. He's below deck. I'll go after him.
Yeah, it was
half repairing things, but then stopping before.
Yeah, just I'm down below. They're taking on water, just hammering away. Like, all right, guys, I got this, and then letting go. Start hammering again. All right, like we're taking on some water, but I got this, guys. Don't worry about it.
It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. And
didn't at one point they say, I think these guys are friends?
Yeah, it was right about the time you're seeing now, where you're running around the deck all crazy, and I've killed like 3 of them right in front of you, and you're not helping. And I think one guy is like, I'm pretty sure these guys are friends. And then he died. But yeah, there was a lot of crazy stuff happening. And then, like, at one point, I reboard that sloop, and then the people that I originally stole it from respawn on it, and they just immediately start helping me. Like, I'm shooting at that one galleon, and the other guy's just like, all right, he gets his sniper rifle and starts taking shots at him too. And I'm just like, why aren't you killing me right now? And he didn't. I don't know. It was wild. It was just a wild night. But yeah, we managed to sink everybody like usual. It was a real good time. But yeah. So see if these...
Oh god, they even had their cannons up. I didn't ever notice that.
Oh yeah, they had their cannons up.
They had their cannons up, and I was pummeling them with shots. Oh, yeah. That's great.
That was ridiculous. But yeah, so Sea of Thieves hasn't lost any of its luster for me. It's just...
Yep.
They can keep adding little... We're supposed to be getting weekly events here pretty soon. I think after the 2-week event for Hungering Deep is over, they're going to start weekly events, which are going to be smaller little things, but again, we'll add more varied objectives and things like that for the time being. So looking forward to that, and yeah, it's not slowing me down one bit. Lack of content has not been an issue so far for me.
That's not a problem. So, yeah, it was pretty fun. Towards the very end, they were taking on some water, and you were fighting them below deck, and that's when I just finally turned code and just like, nope, you're dead.
Yeah.
So, just found that perfect time just to go through to start killing them all.
Yep.
You played your part well.
That was fun. I don't know why they just didn't kill me.
I would have just killed you on principle.
Yeah, they should have. I was the most incompetent player.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? Get on your boat and start shooting at him. Sink his sloop, dummy.
I like how that boat came right back around at the perfect time.
Yep, I just let it coast after ramming that galleon, and then hopped right back on it like it was planned. It was pretty cool.
Because it was, right?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Totally meant to do that. Well, let's move on to some news. Oh, almost play the news music. That'll be fine. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, you know what? PUBG, you know that game? PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? They're gonna sue the shit out of some Fortnite studios.
Yeah, that's not a great look.
Fuck PUBG.
Yeah, why is that, Creighton?
Because why doesn't Mojang just sue PUBG? Because Mojang had a battle royale mode in Minecraft back in 2012. Like,
Yeah,
it's the same damn
PUBG's
shit.
not the first battle royale mode that ever
Exactly.
existed.
It likes to think it is, though.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of anything that's totally unique to it. Maybe the circle that's, like closing on the map, but
No, that's not unique to it at all.
no.
Nope.
It doesn't look good when like PUBG was the kind of insider darling for the better part of 2017, and then Fortnite comes out and just clearly sweeps the fucking floor with it. I mean,
because they put out a version of it that fucking worked.
it was functional and free.
It's free, yeah.
It's hard to compete with that,
It's a
and-
phenomenon,
PUBG came out on Xbox One and it was $60 and it was fucking broken and didn't work. Like,
yeah.
You want to get pissed at somebody else for doing a better job than you, like maybe bring a product to market that actually works.
I heard them talking about this on another, I think it was on the Waypoint radio podcast. They were saying that there may be some stuff going on with lawyers and, IPs and stuff where you see a lot of these Korean developers and stuff that will just try to crank out a clone of your game, and maybe this, shakes a stick in their direction, like, hey, knock that shit off or we'll throw lawsuits your way. There might be some more stuff going on there than really, the creator of the game has control over necessarily, but
right. In the way Fortnite kind of, was very quick to, like they were the first one to copy this formula, and they kind of shoehorned it into their game that really had nothing to do with, like a battle royale at all.
mm-hmm.
Like that felt kind of shitty, but that's business.
Yeah.
This feels like PUBG. This just feels like they're sore losers.
Yeah, that's the look. It's like, oh, well, we have our backs in the corner here and we just got to do something. So bam, here's a lawsuit. That's what it looks like. But I know there is a lot of stuff about, intellectual property, and if you don't protect it, you can lose it and that sort of thing. So,
but there's always been these last man standing type games in every first person shooter that's come out since.
It is a little weird. It would be, it makes me think like, well, is Quake gonna come out or Unreal or whoever was the first one to do a deathmatch, multiplayer thing, and start throwing down lawsuits? Like, I don't understand how that works. It doesn't seem like a thing that you could really copyright or put a, trademark on.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the name and the, if people were using the name or the assets or something like that, I could totally see it. But just, how many games are just a shooter with, arena matches and stuff? I don't know how you sue anybody over that. So
right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's not a good look. So I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't amount to much, I guess.
I can't imagine it will.
Yeah. Another kind of interesting news story here. There was a game created that was up in Steam that was getting a lot of controversy around it called Active Shooter, where you could play as a SWAT team member or an active shooter or a civilian in a school shooting situation. That game got removed, thankfully, from Steam. So Valve basically said, yeah, the guy who's creating this is a known troll. He just creates garbage and he's actually been banned from the platform before and was trying to circumvent that by changing his name and company and all that, and he's been banned again. So
just want to get his name in the paper.
Yeah, and it's this kind of like what do they call it? They call it an asset flip game. So it basically goes and takes store-bought assets or stuff from Unity or whatever and just kind of cranks something out, or just whole cloth like steals assets from other games and stuff, and just incorporates them into his game to get something out there. And yeah, it's good that this is the kind of policing that I do care about that Valve's doing.
Right.
I want them to stay on top of this crap and keep it out of there. So it's not a free speech issue. It's not a, silencing, censoring issue. It's a, hey, we have a platform and this doesn't belong here. It's a good look in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Other than that, we haven't had a whole lot of news. There's been a lot of, it seems like E3 is kind of like a month-long deal now. It's not just E3, it's now the weeks leading up to it, and people are releasing little teasers and stuff as early as May now. So I don't know, there's been a couple interesting ones that jumped out at me though. Warhammer Chaos Bane is going to be an action RPG set in the Warhammer universe. That seems kind of cool to me. What about you, Brian? That tick any boxes for you?
Well, the action RPG box.
Yeah,
for sure. That's kind of my jam. For some reason, like the Warhammer themed stuff has never quite landed for me. I'm not sure why. There's something about it that's off-putting to me that I can't put my finger on.
Gotcha. I've always kind of dug it. It feels like perverted isn't the right word, but just
go on. Naughty.
Does
it feel naughty?
No,
Tyler?
It's like they took Warcraft and
it's okay to like it.
Just poisoned it a little bit. Just kind of gave it a little funk juice.
Well, you've got a god of you've got a god of lust in there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. There's like it's just very grim, dark fantasy, but it's kind of
like the less cartoony version of Warcraft.
Yeah. It's like if Warcraft was just 20% more dark.
I kind of blood god.
Yeah, Corn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just into that stuff. Mutated humans that are all worshiping this chaos god, and orcs that are just running around screaming "wah" and blowing themselves up and stuff. Like I think that shit's kind of cool. So I would be interested in checking this out. Vermintide was super popular and seems to be like getting all kinds of critical acclaim. So them making more video games in this universe is cool to me.
Right. It's like Warhammer Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. So this is, I guess, most of the Warhammer stuff is set in the 40K universe, which is kind of like an alternate, universe that there's. I'm using the word universe too much. It's an alternate, timeline kind of thing set in the future, but with the same themes and stuff. Like there's still orcs and shit in Warhammer 40K, but they're, slightly different. It's all in space.
The same universe, just much further in the future.
Yeah. So I like the high fantasy stuff, so I'm interested to see how that turns out. I'll probably be checking that out. Another one, Luke, I'm sure is at least curious about this one. Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Fallout 76.
Kind of came out of nowhere, and no one has any idea what. There was just a small little teaser trailer for it, showing the inside of a vault on Reclamation Day, I think it's called, which in Fallout is the day that the vault opens up and the inhabitants go back out to explore the world. Oh,
so the idea, Jesus. Sorry, I was getting ad blocker stuff on the site. Yeah, so this is, I thought I read possibly the furthest in the future.
No, it's the opposite.
Oh, gotcha. This is like
it's supposed to be
earliest.
The first vault that opens up.
Gotcha. Okay. And I thought I heard
actually, I think it's only like 20 years after the war or something like that. So
okay. I think hasn't the theme been with most of the vaults that they're doing some kind of experiment or they're doing some kind of like testing or something like that on the inhabitants?
Most of the vaults are experiments. So in Fallout 4, the experiment was what happens if we freeze all the people.
Right. I think this one has been rumored as being like a control group where nothing was done to
control groups. Everything is just people. There's no experiments going on whatsoever.
They're just living in there. Yeah. It's interesting to me. I don't know. There's been rumors that it might be like an online survival game, like a multiplayer type thing. Yeah.
Game.
But there's
Is
also
it Fallout Battle Royale?
yeah, it's just 100 people open up from the vault, and here you go. Figure it out, sort each other out.
Yeah, this seems like they just made Fallout 4 a few years ago. Like they've got the engine, they've got the assets. Might be a hey,
God, I
let's use
hope
this
not.
stuff and
Engine. I
Metal
thought
Gear
Fallout
Survive.
4 used the same thing from Fallout 3 and Skyrim.
It do,
It does.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is the same thing from Oblivion and Morrowind, and all the way back to Morrowind.
I thought Morrowind was different. I thought
Yeah, I
Oblivion
thought
had a brand
Morrowind
new
was
one.
different too.
I think it's all based on the creation kit thing, different versions of that. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think that's kind of why this is taking so. Like they always gussy it up and say like it's the newest version, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of this stuff is all rooted in the
Is
same.
it wrong for me to hope this
engine.
is a maybe smaller title in the Fallout world to help them bring in a new engine that they're going to use to make this the Elder Scrolls game that we want?
I hope so, Greg.
Is
I hope
that
that's
that
exactly
bad for me to hope that, Luke?
This feels more like an offshoot than a main
Yeah.
series
Yeah.
release to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like maybe they're testing out a new engine with this game.
No.
Come on, Luke, let me dream.
No, then when their new engine comes out, it would be an actual major release.
You'd put a
Not-
flagship
not-
title
you're
behind
probably
that.
Yes, it'll be a flagship title, exactly. It will be the next Elder
Fallout
Scrolls.
77, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the other thing that they haven't said. They didn't say which studio is working on this, and that's kind of the weird thing with Bethesda is like their first party, but their actual self-developed titles. Like Todd Howard's team is the team behind Fallout and Elder Scrolls, so like there's always been this juggling of those two franchises, and now I think Todd Howard came out and said that they've got like 6 games in the works or something like that. With just their team alone. So I have heard rumors that this is maybe not the main Bethesda team, that this is like one of the offshoot branches or one of the other studios. Kind of like how ZeniMax Online handles Elder Scrolls Online. It's not part of the actual Bethesda team at all. I don't know.
So you mean kind of like how it did with Fallout New Vegas?
Yeah, like
different
Obsidian, I think,
developers
was
do
the
it.
developer that kind of made that. So I don't know if this is like another partnership deal or maybe just like one of the other, like a smaller, branch studio or something like that. I don't think they've actually come out and said that yet. So I guess we'll probably find out more during E3.
Yeah.
The only other one that I saw was Assassin's Creed Odyssey that kind of piqued my interest. They released a trailer it was just on Twitter, and it's like one Spartan looking guy kicking another Spartan guy off a cliff, very 300 style. Like, this is Sparta, kick to the chest, guy goes flying into a pit.
But can you throw your hat?
There it is.
That is a great reference there, Brian. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Maybe
if
you could be a hippo.
I don't.
I want to be a
Yeah,
hippo.
maybe
I don't know.
maybe you can throw your hat on people. Just get a little Spartan version of every creature that you encounter. People who aren't Aaron Krang seem to like Assassin's Creed Origins. For the most part,
I
so
don't know why I don't. I don't know why I don't, because ancient Egypt is fascinating to me, and I don't know why. Maybe because I feel like Assassin's Creed peaked at Black Flag, and because it was the most different, and then I go back to Origins, and it feels like more of the same from all these other previous. It feels like Assassin's Creed 2 with
scene change.
an ancient Egypt skin on it, and so to me that's kind of old and tired after playing what was refreshing with Black Flag.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe this will be. Something kind of more Black Flaggy. It seems like a pretty different type of thing.
Shit, they could bring like there were a lot of naval battles in ancient Greece. They could bring that in.
Well, and I mean, when I think of assassins, I don't think of like armored warriors with swords and shields as much as
Sure.
and spears and shit. I mean, maybe this will be a totally different type of thing that's just kind of set in that universe. I don't know. I'm at least interested to see what it turns out to be. That's why I thought it was cool to bring it up. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm like pretty burnt out on that series, so I don't know. I don't know that another one is gonna be what I really want. But hey, we'll see. We'll find out. But hey, that's the end of the news. So you know what that means? It's time for this. It's a topic. It is a topic, and the topic this week is: what is your favorite weapon in games? And go.
Before we get into that, Tyler, my favorite moment of this show is every time you say it is a topic, because it's a moment. Yep. It's a moment of you just sheer joy. The joy is palpable. I can taste it, Tyler. It's
having
really good.
To hear myself do a really shitty bumper and then say it's a topic is a pretty great moment in the show. You're not wrong. It's pretty good. But yeah, so hey, who wants to go first? What's your favorite weapon in games? Bring them. Get your swords out.
Why do you assume they're swords?
Why did you say swords? Tyler, are swords your favorite weapons in games?
They are. They are. And I'm going to let you all finish, but the Master Sword is the greatest weapon of all time in video games. It's so great.
Boy, you know,
that I have one right here.
Looking at that, Tyler.
Yeah.
The hilt there, with the guard.
Yeah.
It looks like it would really, really hurt and poke into your hand really hard.
That's true. It's a good observation, Kring. That's why this particular version is not my favorite, but it is the one that you can buy online for cheap and looks okay on your wall. So there you go. But yeah, here's a little tip for all of you fantasy sword designers. Adding little horns that point down is a real dumb fucking idea. Don't do that with your swords, because when you hold it, especially if you got these big meat paws here, it'll kind of like carve up your hand when you try to wield it. It's not a good look. But yeah, the Master Sword is the best weapon in video games. And fight me.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. Why?
Everything about it, man.
Is that because it glows?
Like, one, it's the blade of evil's bane. I mean, come on, apparently a goddess is stored inside of it. I didn't play Skyward Sword, so I don't know the whole backstory or anything, but apparently it's alive.
The Master Sword?
That's new backstory. Okay, all I know is that it was formed by the Seven Sages and created to stop Ganon and seal him away forever.
Is it because if it runs out of energy, you just charge it back?
God damn it, Brian! I knew you were gonna bring that up, you son of a bitch. That's not fair. Okay. Hashtag not my Master Sword.
Does Breath of the Wild's new gameplay mechanic around the Master Sword diminish its appeal to you?
No,
Tyler,
because my favorite moment in gaming ever is still the moment when you claim the Master Sword in A Link to the Past, and you've gone and collected the 3 pendants, and you go through the Lost Woods, and you go buy all those plebe swords that are trying to be the Master Sword, and they aren't the real one, and you finally come through that little clearing, and there's like little squirrels and birds kind of jittering across, and you go up, and then you have that moment where he just pulls it out, he whips it out of the pedestal and lifts it high, and it's the most epic thing. And then it can shoot laser beams out of it.
Like most swords do.
Like all the best swords do. If your sword isn't shooting laser beams out of it when you have full hearts, is it really a sword?
Yeah. What are you doing with your life then?
Right. So, okay, go ahead. Try to follow that up. That's what you get for letting me go first.
I've got one, and it does happen to be a sword, Tyler.
Oh, shit. It's the energy sword from Halo. Did I call it?
No.
Oh, damn.
No,
okay.
You didn't.
All right.
You didn't.
That's a pretty good weapon, though.
Little game on the Sega Genesis called Shining Force 2.
Okay.
And you collect these mithril pieces, and then you can take them to these dwarven...
Mithril.
Yes. You can take them to these dwarven dudes, and they black.
Light as a feather, but strong as dragon scales.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Sorry.
So they will give you swords based on they will give you weapons based on who has presented them with that piece. So like this character is carrying it, and I'm giving it to them, and I want to make a weapon for this character. So there is a character who's a ninja, and they've got some katanas and stuff, but then they have a specific weapon called the Gazarm, that this little katana thing for him. That the reason I like this weapon so much is every time you attack with it, there is a chance that this weapon will just slice the monster in half, killing it instantly, regardless of what his level of HP is and your level of attack is. It's just a random chance attack.
That sounds like a Vorpal blade.
Yeah, doesn't it though?
Snicky snack. That's a sound they make.
Snicky snack to you, sir.
That's a thing.
What's happening? What is
Hold
happening?
on, Vorpal blade.
Why did you say Snicky snack just
It's
now?
a thing from the Alice behind the into the looking glass. The Jabberwocky and the Vorpal blade. Doesn't it say something? Oh shit! I gotta look this up.
That sounds made up.
It makes a sound. Hold on.
I know of.
Continue.
That
I
word,
will.
But I'm not
I will look it
familiar
up.
with it.
I'll look it up. It's fine. Don't worry. Continue, Kring. What does your Gazarm do? What does it do? Cuts people in half, huh?
Snicky snacks are an all-natural oven-baked treats for dogs.
Best weapon of all time.
Oh man.
So there you go, Tyler.
Sound of the Vorpal blade. There is something to do with that. I can't find it. Maybe I'm just having an aneurysm.
Mine's a cheat, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Mine is the portal gun.
Okay. Yeah,
Not
that's
really a weapon,
not a
but I
weapon.
don't care. Hey, you kill stuff with it.
The
You-
look on
you
the
can-
look on Luke's face says that was his favorite too.
We had a big move there, Maxwell.
Shit, we should have compared notes.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Right in your face, Luke.
Oh, that makes it all worth it.
Okay, here it is. The Vorpal blade went Snicker snack. That's the thing that it says. It's
Well,
a
that's very
description.
different than
Snicky
That's very
snack.
different than
Yeah.
it's very different than organic oven baked treats for dogs.
The Vorpal blade makes the distinct sound Snicker snack. I'm not crazy, okay? That's a thing. That's a thing. All right. Anyway, you got a backup, Luke?
Yeah, I do have a second favorite weapon. I'll do the gravity gun from Half-Life.
I knew it was going to be
That's
a
a good
gravity gun. That's a good.
That's a good one.
Isn't the portal gun really just a gravity gun that does a different thing?
The portal gun is a gravity gun. Changed my mind.
Well, Tyler, no. One creates portals, and the other one messes with gravity.
Okay.
See, with the gravity gun, the gun's not a weapon. Everything else is a weapon, and
There you
that's
go.
what's really cool about it.
Is it Ravenholm? Is that the
Yes, I
level
was just
that?
gonna say,
Oh
when you get
man.
the gravity gun, zombies coming out, and you've got saw blades that you can pick up, and gas
Oh, yeah.
canisters to throw
I
at
remember
fire. That
Yeah.
was just flipping awesome.
That's
That
a
was fun.
very memorable level for that reason. Yeah.
That was
sure.
basically designed to show off the gravity gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when people talk about Half-Life, I forget that I think the physics stuff was probably a big part of why that game was so popular at the time, because it was doing stuff that
Yeah.
you didn't really see, especially with the gravity gun and that sort of thing. So
I will never forget when they released the teaser for Half-Life 2, and it was basically just a tech demo of the Source engine. And that's all the stuff they showed off was the facial animations, the
Mhm.
water effects, the gravity stuff. It's just like, oh my god, like this is
games can do this now.
this now?
That's
Oh,
cool.
man. Yeah.
Very cool. The portal gun does have some pretty awesome moments. It does have the name gun right in the name, so I guess it counts.
It's a technicality, but I'll take it.
Good stuff. Well, everyone, it's been real and it's been fun. But it brings us to the close of another episode of Questlog. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 79. You can find it every darn week over at questlogcast.com. You can follow us on Twitter at questlogcast. Find out when the show goes live. Get some sweet hot takes, and follow us. That's what you can do. You can email the show. You can do that.